In this video, we'll be covering how to wrap your hands. Now, the standard cotton hand wraps that are out there are approximately, or they are 180 inches. They do come with some Velcro, and inside of the middle will be a thumb loop. A recommendation I suggest to everyone is that when you are about to put it onto your hands, you just undo it right from here and reverse the roll. And this is a really good setup to give to yourself, so that way you don't have to fight with all the different kinds of twists that come along with unraveling it too far as a long strip. Okay, so I'm not going to do the whole thing here. I actually have one prepared for us right here that's already in the reversed roll. When we take our hand wrap and we use the thumb loop, when you start to go around, you want to make it in such a way that it's not too tight, like a tourniquet, but just snug enough, so that way all of the different wraps will act together as one and create the protection our wrist needs, okay? Make sure that your hand is nice and wide, flayed open, so that way it will give you the maximum comfort as the wrap is going around your hand. So the first few turns will be around the wrist. This will be the first one. And then the second one here will have an overlap, okay? Now I'm going to come back towards the wrist notch here, so that way it can come up towards the knuckles, and I'll do that one about twice. Once, and then twice. Come back down towards the wrist, and the same way that we use the wrist notch over here, I'm going to make sure that we use that as our point of reference. Now I'm going to start covering the thumb knuckle. We'll go around it the first time, coming back, and then around the wrist. Second time around the knuckle, around, and then towards the wrist. Now, we have one more turn here, so now when I come up, using the same wrist notch to help hold the cloth in place, I go towards the first webbing. Around the front, and then going back towards the wrist again. But this time going downwards. You'll notice that there's an X here. And as I continue doing this, you'll see the X pattern, like a crosshatch, take place to help create a stronger support for our wrist, so that way it makes it more difficult for it to be bending downwards, which is where a majority of the wrist injuries takes place. So definitely make sure that you use this to help protect your wrist. Now that I'm finished with all the webbings of the hand, now I'm going to go around the wrist one time to help clean that up. Come back up again. Now I'm going to clean up the front of the knuckle side, and then come back down for the final X. Go around the wrist, and finish it off. Now when you're finished here, when we turn the hand over, you'll notice that there is a palm opening side here. Some people like to tuck it in like this, opening it up, so that way it makes it a lot easier to create a fist. You'll notice that the fingers can curl around this a lot easier than covering the entire palm. When you do that, your fingers run into it. Okay, so it should feel nice and sturdy, not completely restricting the bending of the wrist, but then when you create the fist, you'll feel everything tighten up right from there, so that way we prevent our wrist injury.